The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Sold out for weeks due to the difficult and extensive proprietary process behind its creation, the exclusive InfoWars Life Secret 12 formulation is now back in stock in the last limited shipment of 2014. The most bioactive form that has been created with our proprietary process. This ultra-clean vitamin B12 nutraceutical has been carefully crafted and developed over the last 2 years and is based on cellular science of how your body actively absorbs essential nutrients. Secret 12 is taken by mouth, right on the tongue, and then swallowed. No needles, no injections. Vitamin B12 deficiency is linked to scores of serious problems. And Secret 12 is a fusion of 2 organic proprietary forms of vitamin B12, bringing you a true nutraceutical quality vitamin B12. Secret 12 is an excellent Christmas gift. Secure your Secret 12 formula before December 17th at InfoWarsLife.com and receive it before Christmas guaranteed. That's InfoWarsLife.com before December 17th or by calling 888-253-3139.
As the year is coming to a close, we all pause to reflect on what's happened in the past year. We take a step back and thank God for what we have. I'm David Hall, founder of Diamond Gusset Jeans. At Diamond Gusset, we are celebrating the brush fires of liberty that are spreading across this great nation. Another thing we are celebrating is you. Without the valued listeners of Alex Jones and our loyal customers, we wouldn't be here today. We offer a wonderful online shopping experience. If you receive a pair that doesn't fit, send them back and we'll exchange them at no cost to you. Beat the shopping rush by visiting us at gusset.com and join our email newsletter to receive some great holiday discounts. And paying no attention to political correctness, Diamond Gusset wants to wish you all a Merry Christmas. Thanks for believing in our dream, the original 100% American-made Diamond Gusset jean.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know the fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com and to help others during Christmas by teaching them about the powerful benefits of silver. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
We are on the march. The Empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host today. I have Mayor Katusa on the line, and we're talking about his book, The Colder War. A fascinating book that really gives you a background as to what's happening with this developing Cold War that is right now in a full-on economic war. We're going to talk about the rise of Putin as well as the coming fall of the petrodollar in just a moment. But before we go back to Marin, I want to let you know that we got a 2-day-only special. We have an essential holiday health pack. It has Secret 12, X2, Nascent Iodine, and Silver Bullet, all three, for only $59.99. That's a retail value of $139.85. You save $79.90, nearly 57%. It's a limited time offer. It's only today and tomorrow. If you order today or tomorrow, you can get your products delivered by Christmas guaranteed. So that's a essential holiday pack, a 2-day special only. That's Secret 12, X2, Nascent Iodine, and Silver Bullet, all three for only $59.99. Now, before the break, Marin, we were talking about I said I wanted to cover Putin's rise as well as the petrodollar. But before we get to that, I wanted to get your comments as a fund manager about what's going on. I just saw a notice that COMEX is going to implement gold and silver price limit collars. Effective on the 21st, they're going to limit price fluctuations will kick in at $100 moves in gold and $3 moves in silver. What are they concerned about? Looks like the Russian currency is crumbling. We've got derivatives and oil that are coming in. It looks like a very unstable time, doesn't it?
It really is. And as an investor, whether you're a fund manager, or even at a retail level, for all the mom and pops out there, what you have to understand is it's not true capitalism, as Bud Conrad, an economist at Casey Research, states. It's about interventions and understanding what's going on. So if you look at Obama's administration, I would sum it up as he has increased the debt of the American government by over 50% under his watch, and he's made the worst decisions. So I call it financial heroin. He's made the system addicted to financial heroin. And the worst thing for your viewers to understand, to have, is going into the next evolution and sector of this Colder War is to be exposed to the debt, because look what the Russians are going through right now. If your interest rates go up and you're exposed to margin calls or increased volatility, be very careful. And that's why the derivatives, when you mentioned them earlier, are so critical, because as the petrodollar does collapse, and it will, then you get the derivatives kick in, and who's going to control this? We're talking about, quadrillions of dollars, numbers that people can't even fathom. We're in uncharted territory here.
And we're already seeing oil derivatives coming under a lot of pressure. Many of them are already worthless. People are scrambling to cover that. I mean, it's just the coming tidal wave of economic problems, to me, is just, it's very apparent. All these forces that are building up at the end of the year right now, very, very worrying. Let's talk for a moment about Vladimir Putin before we talk about the consequences. You got a chapter in your book called Post-Petrodollar. I want to talk about the consequences of what happens when we lose the petrodollar here in America. But let's talk about Putin. Talk about his rise to power. What makes this guy tick?
Well, it's not money. When you look at a lot of politicians, he's the exact opposite of Obama. What Putin truly believes is his mission on earth is to bring Russia back to its previous greatness under Peter the Great. A good ideology of him is when he came into power, he was the head of the basically what we call the old KGB. This guy is a Soviet trained, he's brilliant, but he's driven by national pride. And he hung up a photo.
Let me give an anecdote from your book. You pointed out that his grandfather, who essentially mentored him, was somebody who was a cook for Lenin and then Stalin. He managed to survive the purges, and there were even rumors that he was with the NKVD. This is a guy that had a lot of influence on him, and at an early age, Putin went to the KGB and wanted to know what he could do. And you report in his book that they told him, well, the best thing you could do if you want to get in the KGB is get a law degree. And they came looking for him when he went to law school and recruited him at the age of 22. This is a guy who he was caught up in the James Bond type of espionage stuff. They had their own version of it in Russia. He was caught up in that. He got very interested in martial arts, wanted to be a KGB person. He's got a much different, longer-term point of view than Obama, doesn't he?
Oh, definitely. And he's working with the Chinese, who plan in 20, 30-year cycles. Obama plans according to his Twitter account, which is by seconds. So, you can't compare the two. But more importantly, what this is all doing, and the real threat here in the Colder War, is the emerging markets are now working closer together than ever before. And the Western markets, the old allies of the U.S. are trying to sit here going, well, we can't do what the Americans want anymore. For example, Germany was really being pushed by the American sanctions onto Russia, but now Germany's painted in a corner. So really, Obama has isolated his allies, and more importantly, has pushed his enemies closer together.
You point out that as we enact these trade sanctions, we're essentially throwing fire on the de-dollarization in terms of removing the dollar as reserve currency. Explain that.
Well, sanctions are just another form of war. Everyone's going to lose in a sanction. And, it's sad that it's got to go that way, because there's so many better alternatives. But the sanctions are going to come back, and they've already backfired on the German economy. It's starting to backfire on other European economies. And remember, winter's coming, and Eastern Europe and Western Europe depends about a third of its natural gas on Russia. But Russia's not down and out. Never underestimate the Russians. They have survived things that most people can't even fathom. And Obama is underestimating. Remember when in the debate with Romney, when Romney said Russia is our greatest threat, and Obama laughed and said, what are you talking about? The Cold War ended 20 years ago. Obama's completely clueless to what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And so is the American public, too. They don't remember, as you point out in your book, you said at one time Ukraine was Russia. At the beginning of the interview, you pointed out that it looks like Putin is going to move nuclear weapons into Crimea. They're not about to let Crimea go, are they?
No, definitely. There's four key critical elements that is about Crimea. First of all, over 90% of the people are Russian and Russian speaking. So if you understand Putin's strategy, what I call the Slavic warrior mentality, he's not going to let any Russian be suppressed or be threatened. More importantly, it's about the gas pipeline. Second, the offshore oil and gas deposits. It's a deep sea warm port, which is very important for Russia's military. And fourth, the key critical part that no media is talking about is if Crimea stayed in even Ukraine or eastern Ukraine, Ukraine could now import U.S. and European goods and trade them to the former USSR states at a tax advantage that the Russians couldn't. So it's also a threat to the U.S. manufacturing strategy, and Putin won't have any of it. And they will defend Crimea as they will defend Moscow.
You point out in your book, you go back to the Rose Revolution in Georgia, talking about how at that time South Ossetia and another territory tried to secede from Georgia. And of course, at that point in time, we were against self-rule and self-government, just as we've seen with the Ukraine situation. We are for Ukraine seceding from the Soviet, from Russia, and then we oppose Crimea seceding from the Ukraine. I mean, there's absolutely cannot make a coherent argument for this. It's just naked power politics that they're playing here with the energy that's going on here. It's like draw some parallels between the Rose Revolution and what we have just seen in the Ukraine with the Maidan Revolution.
Sure. So the Rose was first, and it was really funded by the NGOs, American money, Western money coming in. And it was the beginning. But at the time, Putin didn't yet solidify. He didn't take on the oligarchs yet at the time. He didn't control the domestic Russian oil and gas and resources. So he kind of stayed put and let things develop. Then we had the Orange Revolution in Ukraine, and that was big. That was very important. That really showed a shift. And now the Maidan Revolution is really the EU versus Russia, and the EU is backed by America. And it's really the American incentive to fight the Russian foreign politics here. And it's a retaliation that most people in the West did not expect because they thought Putin would back down. That is not the situation. And if you want to compare it to, let's say, the former Yugoslav Republic of Kosovo, where America defended Kosovo is exactly what Russia is now doing for their side. So, we've been seeing flip-flop politics, and there's a lot of flags of awareness and failed foreign policy on the Western sides. And remember, Putin's going to do exactly what's best for Russia's long-term strategy. If it means going to economic war or physical war or supplying weapons or moving the nuclear weapons into Crimea, Putin won't think twice about it.
Absolutely. He's got a long-term plan. And part of that long-term plan includes moving into the Arctic, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. That's where the world-class deposits are. And it's ironic that even though there were sanctions against Russia from the U.S., Exxon, America's largest oil producer, was still moving forward and doing the offshore development. And they didn't pull out. They got an exception to complete that well because according to the terms of the contract, if Exxon backed out, they would lose billions of barrels of oil. So it's in Exxon's best interest to work with Russia. Exxon wants to work with Russia, and it's all about the future world-class deposits. And, Exxon and other major American oil companies have realized that the political instability in the Middle East, where other world-class oil deposits, not worth the risk. So there's not many places around the world that you can get billions of barrels of deposits. And Russia's definitely one of the most important countries for oil, natural gas, and uranium.
You point out in your book that in the Arctic, there's estimated to be 200 billion barrels, over 10% of the world's total. And you also point out that there's a lot of different competing claims. Canada's got claims there, U.S., Norway, even Denmark. Just this last couple of days, Denmark made a claim that they own the North Pole. I guess we should let Santa Claus know.
Exactly. Who would you want to back on that? Russia with Putin or Canada with Harper? Come on.
Yeah, I think if push comes to shove, and it probably will, I think Russia's going to go there. But you make another point here that I wasn't aware of. So after 13 years of wrangling, the UN's Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf awarded Russia jurisdiction over a 20,000 square mile area in the Sea of Okhotsk, I guess is how, I don't know how you pronounce that. But basically, they've already had the UN side with their territorial claims.
Oh, definitely. And more importantly, what no one's realizing is Russia is the world's largest country from just a landmass, and they haven't even started their unconventional oil and gas development.